Yeah. Do you use studio mode?
I typically don't.
Hmm. Let me. There we go. Yes. Do 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 do.
Let me see where we're up. Oh, we're up on Instagram.
Sweet.
Hello, Instagram.
What's up,
a little
Instagram?
sneak preview.
We're on Instagram. We're on Instagram, folks. I like it.
And it looks like we are up on YouTube as well. So,
all right, we're on.
We're on. We can give it a few minutes before everybody checks in.
We're always early, dude. Why are we always?
Because I'm always afraid it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
it's good to just be early.
Yeah. I mean, look, people are going to hop on the stream. They got to get used to what we're doing here. They got to get used to this experience. The Touchdowns All Day live show is I think it's something that, is special. It's something that's really important for our community.
It is. I mean, these are the shows right now.
These are the
shows are back.
Yeah. Well, shows are back soon. I mean,
I know, it's crazy. And we will talk about that.
I mean, look, I have loved this 2 months off. Let me tell you. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to get back in. I spent the whole time tuning up my guitar rig, literally. So we're ready to hit the road. But still, it was nice to just chill. It's pretty cool. But this YouTube live thing is amazing. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
It's fire, dude. So how do other live stream people start their show? Do they have do we have to make a theme video?
Yeah, we probably should have a nice little animation.
Right.
That rocks out at the beginning. We should get Kush or somebody who could do something cool, or Mazer, to do little opening credit sequence.
Right. Right. That would be the move, little
the
opening.
Logo spins in and
goes through a dolphin, rides a dolphin into the ocean.
Yes.
Turns into a dolphin. Goes. Yeah. It's crazy. So, all right. So we have our opportunity to get the fan base on here and do some live streaming. I mean, I thought the last show was a total success. How did you feel about the last show?
For the fact that we were making it up as we went along, I thought it was great.
We never do that, folks. We are always prepared. When Max says stuff like that, it's also prepared. The psyop. Max is running a psyop on our fan base.
Yes.
Seriously.
Very elaborate.
It's nice to be, taking questions from the fans and being able to communicate with people on a real-time basis. I really like that. It's totally nice. I like the fact that when we wrap the podcast, it's literally out and we don't have to do anything anymore. I love that part. Yeah.
Yes, Alex.
That's a good one. I mean, I'm sure in today's world, we can do that, Alex. We can do that.
Yeah. Don't we just mid-journey that or something?
Yeah. When we tell Kush what our dreams are and he makes them a reality.
I love that.
You just let Kush be the weaver of the dreams. He is from San Francisco, so kind of goes with the territory.
Okay, now we're live on IG. I just realized there was one more button I had to push, and I pushed it. So perfect timing. All right, you want to do this?
Yeah, let's get started. I mean, look, it's 9:00. It's showtime. Welcome to the show, folks.
We're mass communicating.
We got theme music. We don't have a dolphin flying through the sky
we don't.
on fire.
Not yet.
but we have our theme song.
Better
Welcome
build
back
it.
to Touchdowns All Day Live, May 26, 2025 edition. I'm your host, Max Dawson, here with my co-host, John Barber. John, we're doing it.
I love this. I love YouTube. I love being on YouTube. It's my favorite, literally one of my favorite apps of all time. And here we are, live streaming away. We are Touchdowns All Day, the podcast. This is Max Dawson. I'm your co-host, John Barber. And we are talking about all things life and disco biscuits here on Touchdowns All Day podcast.
Yes, we have a full agenda for tonight, including a lot of your questions. Thank you for everyone who submitted a question via Discord, via Fantasy Tour, Facebook, Instagram, all the social platforms. You know where to reach us at TDADBaby on X, at Touchdowns All Day on Instagram. We've got a Facebook page, lots of stuff going on there. And I do want to say before we go any further, please follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. The last few weeks, we put up a lot of content on YouTube, not only these live episodes, but we put up the 2-part Benji Eisen interview, the guru. And John, I don't know if you saw part 2, which dropped on Friday.
I did.
So much archival footage. I was able to track down footage of the Rick Rude virtual pool party that he threw at your house when you were on tour in 1999. I guess he turned one of the rooms into a pool by filling it with packing peanuts.
Yeah.
And Benji almost died by swallowing one of those packing peanuts. So if you ever wondered what everybody looked like back then when we were skinnier and had all of our hair and all that stuff, check out our YouTube channel and you'll see us all in our glory days.
I was really skinny back then. I was like literally 50 pounds lighter than I am now. I was so light back then that I can't get down to that weight no matter how I try. There's no way I could get down to the weight. I'd have to starve myself in like Bhutan or something for like for a whole year before I could get there. I was 178. That's like nowhere near that. I'll never, like when I was thin last year, I was 212. Just to put it in perspective. What happened?
What about the Ozempic?
I mean, I was 212. It was the best thing of all time. But the second I stopped doing Ozempic, I put on all the weight possible in 48 hours, 72 hours.
Okay, so that was 212 with the Ozempic.
Oh yeah, it was on some tech friend of mine gave me like some. It wasn't Ozempic, it was some other stuff, and he was like, "Take this, it'll be great." And I took it, and I was on the bike every day, and dude, pounds flew off. It wasn't Ozempic, it was something else, but pounds flew off. I was just like, this is crazy. And I got down to about 210, which is where I've like literally, it's like my goal weight for every single diet that I failed at for the past 10 years has been 212, has been my goal weight. And I never get there. It never happens. And then I got there on whatever that stuff was, trizeptitude, trizitin.
It sounds like a research chemical. It sounds like something that you take and you wake up a few days later in a different state.
Yeah, or as a different person. It worked really well, but there are some downsides to it that I didn't love. I didn't
What were
love.
those?
Well, I think for me, I have brittle bones, and you've known I've broken some bones over my lifetime.
I mean, is it brittle bones if you like do destructive things and your body just can't handle it?
Yeah, I blame my bones. I don't think it's my behavior that needs to be adjusted. I think it's the bones are not strong enough for what I'm doing.
We need to get you adamantine, Wolverine style metallic bone structures so that you can do all these things that the brittle bones are keeping you from doing. Okay, so the Manjaro kept you had your brittle bones. You were like Glass from the M. Night Shyamalan movies, Mr. Glass. What were the other downsides?
Well, your bones feel brittly, and you feel like you're really pissed one day a week, which sucks, but the weight just falls off you like fat coming off of like one of those, those big pork things they have in those taco stands, those like huge pork things going around. The fat just like falls off of it. That's what your life is like. It's the best if you're dieting. There's nothing like it. It's like gamified dieting. It's like the most fun you'll ever have on a diet. If you've ever had fun on a diet, this is how you have fun on a diet, and it's incredible. But it's really hard to do on tour because you got to bring this like syringe around, and I don't want to like go on tour with a syringe because people get the wrong idea about what I use it for. Like people will be like, I don't want to give anybody any bad ideas. So I basically didn't bring it on tour, and I like put on like 1,000 pounds in 72 hours. I ballooned up like a blimp. I couldn't believe it. One day I was like, I'm the lightest ever. The next day I was like, oh my God, this is the heaviest I've been in 600 years. Like old versions of me have not been as fat as I am right now. It's insane. Wow. But I also watched a video where people who have babies or are pregnant, a lot of times the guy gains weight with the wife.
Weight. Yeah.
And it's not like a thing that you do. It's like a I don't know, it's a mother nature process. Apparently it's very natural. So I'm not hating on myself too bad right now.
Yeah. Listen, we are a body positive podcast. We accept all shapes and sizes and all shapes and sizes of Barber.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll get back on tirzepatide if everybody really needs me to be that thin. I thought I looked great that thin.
If not, just go watch the old videos on YouTube, on the Touchdowns All Day YouTube channel. John, you mentioned tour and how hard it is to keep a healthy lifestyle on it, but we have tour coming up. I mean, your vacation, your paternity leave is about to come to an end. So before we even get into the tour dates, which I want to go through, we had a question submitted by our friend Tim Danielson, who wanted an update on baby Stevie and Riv and how everyone is doing and adjusting to life with the new addition.
All right, there's a lot of questions. Where do you want me to get started?
Well, just Tim wanted an update on the baby.
All right. Well, look, baby life is fantastic. She's very cute. I don't sleep a lot. She doesn't sleep a lot. She's getting better. Having a baby is the first couple of months are a little brutal, but you got to get through it. She's very cute. A lot of diapers. I've changed a lot of diapers. One thing people don't know about me is that I literally have no experience with children or babies whatsoever. I'm the youngest person in my family. I was always the youngest. There was never anyone younger than me anywhere near me. And by the time anybody had babies around me, I was like, on tour as a rock musician, and nobody hands a baby to a rock musician.
Yes.
So it's like I had no baby experience at all. And then with River, it was like I didn't even realize he ate food when River was born. That's how bad I was. And then when this baby came out, it's been like 5 years, so I forgot everything. So now I'm like relearning all the stuff. Like I feel like the baby will survive and be good because River did, and we succeeded there. But I still have no idea what I'm doing. Like I still am scared to bathe the baby because I still have no idea what to do there. And today I was like, can we put the baby in the pool? Like I don't know if you can put a baby in a pool. I don't know what the rules are. Thank God for other people who know the answer.
Well, yes, fortunately, Lisa is really good at this stuff.
Yeah,
so
Lisa knows all the answers.
As bad as you are at parenting, Lisa is in the other direction, excellent at it. And River has turned out amazing. So apparently you know more than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could solve any problem in the world with time. You can put time in and solve a problem that you can't do. If you want to become excellent at nuclear physics, there is an amount of time that you could spend working on nuclear physics where you will actually become one of the foremost experts in the world. It's just a matter of time for you as a person, right? And for me, babies are like nuclear physics. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know where to get started. But if you put the time in, you end up there. You get there.
Well, I spent the last few days with a 6-month-old. Some friends are in from out of town,
and they
Zach
left their baby
and Julia
with you?
Weprin, and they periodically let us take care of the baby, and it's really interesting. I have a lot of experience.
That's a cute baby. That's what I heard.
Yeah, a very cute baby. I have a lot of experience with pets. Yeah. It's not the same thing because you can't put the kid in the crate when you go out. I've learned that you cannot put the kid in the crate. Unfortunately.
Are you sure?
Well,
you put a little dog biscuit in there with the kid, and
a little bowl of water. It's
dog
fine.
Biscuit. Yeah, a little water. Like you get one of those mice,
like the hamster thing. Yeah, the little dosage thing. Yeah,
it's fine. People are very helicopter parenty with their babies. These things are designed to be strapped to your back while you're while you have to leave Egypt by whip. You know what I mean? There's like, you can do so many things with a baby that people do not think that they can do anymore in our overly soft society. And, it's
Well,
still possible, Max. It's still possible.
I believe you. Any plans to get Stevie to her first Biscuits show? She's got to start her stats page on Fantasy Tour and,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
this summer maybe?
Bearsville, 13, 14 of June, I believe it is. Is it 13, 14 in June?
I'm going to meet the baby.
No, it is 18, 19 of June.
Very
Bearsville
good.
Theater. Yeah. It's like it's a Wednesday and a Thursday. So we're gonna. I think Stevie will be at those shows.
Well, if you were on the fence before, guys, now you definitely need to get to Camp Home Again at Bearsville, 2-day event. I'm going to be out for the trip, and Avery's going to be very jealous when she finds out that Stevie and Lisa are going to be there. John, while we're talking about June tour dates, you're about to hit the road again. Your vacation coming to an end.
I know.
Let's talk through the tour dates.
Well, I mean, look here. Let's just start at the top and do a quick rundown of what we got. We have June 4th, Terminal West, Atlanta, Georgia. Played there before. Great room, great spot. June 5, Neighborhood Theater in Charlotte, North Carolina. June 6 and 7, French Broad River Brewery, Asheville, North Carolina. That is our return to Asheville after we lost the shows because of that great disaster and flood that they had. So we're very excited to get back to Asheville, entertain those people. June 10, Lincoln Theater. That one sold out on a Sunday. This one is going to sell out. That is on the way to Bonnaroo on June 12th for Tractor Beam on the Infinity Stage. This is the most techno gig Tractor Beam has ever received, and we're super excited for Bonnaroo considering us for this spot, and we're going to bring it big time for this show. That's the biggest Tractor Beam show ever.
And is that is there some kind of like rotating stage or some sort of high-tech stage setup at Bonnaroo for this Infinity Stage?
I saw a stage plot. It looks crazy. Like it is, it's like we got to like fit into this like DJ-esque thing. We're kind of like a little bit technically advanced as a band if you think about all the different things that we do. And we're trying, there's like a 7.1 or it's like 11.1 in this particular location sound system where there's speakers here, and you can send different things to all these different speakers. So we are talking about it. Magner is like really nerding out on a lot of the things that you can do there, which is super cool. And we're going to do some very wild things with shooting sound all around the room. Super excited. We have some new Tractor Beam music to debut at that show. I know I'm not allowed to say that, but I just did. So
okay.
So some new Tractor Beam songs for some new Tractor Beam releases, which are coming this summer. All right, so let's continue. June 14th, All Good Now, which is the All Good Festival. It's Tim Walther. They threw us on the schedule. We are early, so get there on Saturday. Enjoy the show. It's going to be great. June 17th, the Westcott Theater, Syracuse, New York. June 18 and 19, 2 nights, Woodstock Theater, the Bearsville Theater. This is the Biscuit foray into teaching shows, but these are just shows, folks. Let's just be honest. Let's just call it what it is. Everyone's trying to dress this up as some kind of camp or something, but I think we're just playing shows at this point. I mean, I think Alan's going to lead a meditation and have a little bit of a moment with the audience, which would be great because people want more Alan all the time. And those are the shows where you're going to get it. June 19th through 22nd, Electric Forest Festival. This is a Tractor Beam show. We played there last year as Disco Biscuits. It was huge. It was a really great fan reception amongst the techno people. They are gracious enough to have us back at Electric Forest. If you haven't been to Electric Forest, you should go. It's one of those festivals. Peoria Riverfront, June 22. That's a Sunday, I believe. And June 24, Mercury Ballroom in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville got a really hot show last time you were there. One of the big shows of 2024.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a great venue. It's a great town. The people there are really fun to play for. They just have like a kind of a unique relationship with the band. It's surprising for us to have so many great fans in the Louisville area. So we just always bring it for them. And You know, they always are. I don't know what the Mercury Ballroom's like. Where do we play? I don't remember where we played last time. That theater, right? That like,
Yeah,
I forget what it was called. Yeah, it was like a Sunday. It was like a place we used to play back in the day. So this place is new, and we'll see how this one turns out. Mercury Ballroom, June 24, Louisville, Kentucky. June 25, the Hi-Fi Annex in Indianapolis, Indiana. June 26th, the Bluestone in Columbus, Ohio. June 27th, Back to Stage AE in Pittsburgh, PA, which is an epic room for us. If you guys love the song No Recollection, it was written on stage at Stage AE. We really like the room there. June 28th, Levitt Pavilion, Westport, Connecticut, our first pavilion show of the summer. That is June, folks. That is the Disco Biscuit show rundown.
Well, guys, discobiscuits.com/shows, for all of the tour dates, June and beyond, all the ticketing info, the VIP packages, all the info you need is there. Hope to see some of you guys out on the road really soon. John, you mentioned before a potential tractor beam release. We talked a little bit about that last week, but there have been some other releases recently. The Revolution in Motion live album, the Revolution in Motion instrumental album. For a very long time, you were teasing the former. You were telling us about working on that live album, and it sounds fantastic. The instrumental album, that's a lot of fun too. Would love to see maybe some people do some remixes on some of those songs like Crossin did with Shocked. What's your feeling about the reception that the live show and the instrumental album are receiving from the fan base?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I was going to ask the fans directly, like, which one do they like? Which are they listening to? I personally think the Revolution in Motion instrumental album is like one of the great party albums ever made. Like, if you have a party going on in your house and you want to put on something that doesn't take the focus away from your party, like if you put on Revolution in Motion with the lyrics, you bring a lot of focus to what the band's doing. But if you put on the instrumental album, people just have a great time. I mean, it's crazy, and everybody's just funking around, hanging around. It's really good. It's not like just kind of like some people find techno music to be a little bit too much. Some people find like, you know, fusion-y jam band stuff to be too much, and everybody likes the instrumental combo. So I'm curious which one people like, the live album or the instrumental album, if they think we should make more of these. What do y'all think?
Chime in, chat. I think that one thing I would love to see, if it's possible, it depends on the technology. Could you go back and remix some of the old Biscuits albums as instrumental albums?
I wonder. I mean, it would be interesting to see what would happen there. I wonder if that's even possible. I don't even know if we have like the multi-tracks to do that. I'm sure there's some AI tool that could just like extract the vocals, but Revolution in Motion is a strange album because the core of it is a dance music beat to every single song. And we did that on purpose. Whereas like if you were to take like Hot Air Balloon, some of the songs are dancey, but you have Overture, you have these songs that are not dancey at all, because Hot Air Balloon was more of like a theatrical concept along with the story, where Revolution in Motion, from the first note, were like, we are right. The idea was, let's write a techno opera, techno space, not space opera necessarily, but let's write a techno rock opera thing, right? Techno opera, whatever you want to call it, or techno theater, whatever you want to call it. So that was the idea, and I think we accomplished that. So it's as far as an instrumental, it's nice because it's very much just a groovy, and it's so it's so lush, that album.
Yeah, definitely.
But I listened to the live album and I really liked it. I mean, it does sound great. The band played great, so it's a tough call.
Beautifully remixed by you and Rich Steele. Check it out if you haven't yet. I mean, I'm sure everyone listened to the Revolution in Motion release party right after the band played it on Nugs, but this is a whole different take on a really historic performance by the band. Oh my God. How did you do that?
What did I do?
I don't know. You brought up a question by Laura.
I did?
That was great. Bring it up again. Laura said, my AMA question fits here. Since the band refuses to relearn Ida Fifth, what about remixing it as a Baba G banger?
I mean, look, I like her style. It's not that the band refuses to learn Ida Fit. It's a very complex song, and for me to learn that song right now is like I gotta really put some time aside. I mean, the song has multiple sections. It has a like a twisty little ending and beginning. Like we can't play like a half version of it. But now that I know you want to hear it, I will learn it. I thought we were just talking about it in an offhand way. I didn't realize that people were like, "Yo, play that song already." But if you want to hear it, we'll play it.
It may be a 2-person campaign, just me and Laura. I may have slipped Laura a payoff to make that request, but we've got tons of fan questions that we're going to get to in the second half of today's episode. But before we do that, John, I wanted to take a little in the spirit of TDB 30, the band's 30th anniversary.
Hold on, are you ready? No is the answer to this question. But thank you for asking, Matt. Hey, really great.
I wanted to do a little this day in Biscuits history because here we are getting together on May 26th. Happy Memorial Day, by the way.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
And I rolled back through the Biscuits Internet Project and noticed that you guys have played 11 shows on May 26th over the course of your 30 years, including some really fun ones. I found a photo of this one. Let me see if I can bring this guy up. This was the show that you played on May 26, 1999. It was at a place called the PD School. I think this was at like an elementary school or something, or a junior high school. Do you have any recollection of this, John?
Well, it looks like a pretty nice stage for a junior high school. I believe that is our old van behind the band.
Aw,
yes. Agent Kuyan is the name of that vehicle, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Sam Lee, sparkly blue kit. This is early when Aaron was on the left side over there. We've switched a couple times since then. But yeah, it looks like a pretty good stage.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a fairly ritzy private school out on Long Island or New Jersey or something like that. But I thought it was one of the more interesting shows that you guys had played on this date. But the show that I really wanted to focus on today, I'm going to take you back to 2023. This was brought to my attention by a fella named One in a Million on Fantasy Tour. And he said, if you could please play for Barber some of the Jam on the River show from, not 2023, 2003. I was off by 20 years. The Jam on the River show in Philly in 2003. I'm going to pull up that set list. Just
is that the one that Dead Mouse opened?
I'm not sure. I'm going to pull up that set list and we'll see. And let's see, what do we got here? Jigsaw, Morph, World of Spinning, Buddha, Sound One, Buddha, Kitchen Mitts, Basis, 42. John, I would love, with your permission, to play a little excerpt from the Morph from this show, which many people have assured me is one of the all-time greatest versions of the song.
That's a pretty good reason to play it. I love this beat.
Yeah.
So it's such an interesting dance beat. The little kick flourishes.
Now, I will say this is an audience recording and a fantastic one at that. I'd like to give credit to whoever recorded this one. That would be Jonathan Hatgis.
So patient.
John, I never made it to Jam on the River. Set the stage for me. What's the vibe?
Well, it's a huge spot where there's a big stage at the bottom of like one of those like kind of like curved. It's kind of like the Greek Theater in Berkeley, San Francisco area. And yeah, it's just this cool spot where, you know, the sound was huge. We used to do big shows there, like 5,000-10,000 people. We used to do it every year. And it was cool. One year it rained out, which was really weird, but we played like into the rain and it was kind of cool. And it was a good venue. I think it's still there. I don't know why they don't do concerts there anymore. Maybe we ruined it for them or something on some level. I don't know what happened, but
would love to hear from the chat. If you guys were at Jam in the River 2003, chime in, or if you hit any of the Jam of the River. Wow, listen to this. What do you have going on right now?
I just have a little like you know, electric wah pedal. It's like an automatic wah pedal.
Okay.
And I just have it set to like, you know, spanky, like
I love this. John Politas said that you were loving your Mooger Fooger pedal at this point.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Mugenfruger type of sound for sure.
Okay.
I never used an actual Mugenfruger. Mark had one, and I just always use different stuff. But yeah, the vibe is there.
We got some shout outs from the chat. Bobby Sessions said Jam in the River '07 was insane. Everything in '07. So I'm gonna have to check that one out, Bobby.
Yeah,
Boots
07 was a
O'Reilly.
good year. Yeah,
Boots
yeah.
O'Reilly seconded it. 5/26/07 was the year it rained out.
I mean, 07, 08, and 09, like, people love to talk about 09. Like, all three of those years to me were just like one big blur, and the band was playing, you know, very similar fashion in all those years. Similar setup. We had our little studio in Philly, and we did our rehearsals, and we went out, you know. 09, Alan had been in the band a couple of years, so there was we were able to play a bigger repertoire and stuff because he had a little time to learn like some of the, you know, more fringe songs and stuff like that.
So apparently you had to finish the show because of a lightning storm and then move the entire party to the Electric Factory.
Yeah, we could do things like that back then. It was we were very tight. I mean, those promoters, Jeff Gordon is the guy who booked all those shows, and you know, he's still in Philly he does like arena shows now, and but he was, you know, he's still involved in, you know, our shows from time to time, and you know, we grew up with him. This was when him and us were like running Philly for a couple of years. We had a great run at this venue where we were, you know, basically selling it out in huge numbers, and it was like, who's this underground band that's doing? Everybody was like, who are these guys? Like, nobody had any idea who we were. So it was really, I mean, this is 2003. Like, we were like still kind of playing college gigs at this point. Like, we weren't.
Yeah.
I think we sold out Roseland in New York like earlier this year or late the year before, and that was like the first like truly like decently big gig we ever had.
Seeing lots of great Gem on the River memories. Rob visual. How do I share this?
Just click on it. I'll share it. Hold on. There we go.
Flaming Lips. Yeah, I wouldn't want to follow the Disco Biscuits.
Yeah. And that was the year like Flaming Lips was doing like Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, like the whole show or something. So
Whoa.
yeah, it was they were getting a lot of people were coming out to see that. That was something people really wanted to see. And the guy was like in the ball walking around the audience, you know. So there was a cool time in concerts. I thought the concerts were really cool back then.
And this is a massive morph. This is deserving of all the hype. All right, we're coming up toward the home stretch on this morph, John. I noticed you guys were rehearsing the other day on Far Play.
Yeah.
What were you guys
Back
working
on
on?
Far Play. What?
What were you guys working on?
Tour stuff. That was a nice key change right there.
Ooh.
Matt here's got a good idea. Gemtronica Festival with Biscuits, New Deal Lotus, Sound Tribe, Orchard Lounge, Space Bacon, My New Bros, Micro Cave, and Guavatron.
I like this idea.
The cool lineup.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna yes
Nice
and
one,
this,
Matt.
Matt.
I'll
we'll
put the
call
word
it.
in. We'll see what can happen.
We'll call it Camp Biscuit.
Well, Camp Biscuit was the kind of electronics festival, you know, but
Yeah.
it started like that. But we always had a rave thing. We always had that component. And we also always had a hip-hop band at Camp Biscuit. Always. Like, we had Snoop Dogg. We had Nas, I think, one year. We had Slick Rick. We had the guys from Wu-Tang. So we always had some hip-hop as well. Because we really, you know, we like hip-hop. We like a lot of those artists. Black Star was killer, Boots. Black Star was really good. Dude, there's a chat going on Instagram too that's kind of fire.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm bouncing
Pink
back
Tech
and
Dubs
forth.
is in there, like everybody's on there's an IG thing, there's an IG chat that's kind of tight as well. That was good. That was a nice
great jam. Well,
It sounded a little bit like you remember that song? It was called like Meditation. It was
I don't know that one. Is that? Oh yeah, I know Meditation.
It's from this era. It was kind of like a little bit like that. I wonder if those were connected on some level.
Interesting. Well, let the Biscuit scholars to see if we can unravel that one.
Yeah.
John, jumping around, I know that you were excited for the finale of the most recent Survivor season, season 48. If you have not yet watched, please drop off the live broadcast because we're going to talk about the winner.
Yeah.
How did you feel, John?
Spoilers,
about the winner?
folks. Spoilers. Like we're going to talk about the winner. Like you got to watch the.
I mean, it aired Wednesday.
You
John,
can't be that busy. Did it end this past Wednesday?
It was this last Wednesday. So I want to know what is your thoughts on the finale? It looked like
press mute for a second. We'll go for it. What's up?
I did not watch this season, but I follow along with all of the chatter, and I know that
you didn't watch this. What?
I haven't watched in a couple of years.
What are you
John?
so busy for? You can't watch the greatest show in television.
Because do you know how many hours I work on this Fakakta podcast?
A lot. Yeah, that's true.
But I want to know, what did you think about the
that's
end?
A great name. If we ever change the name from Touchdowns All Day,
Fakakta Live
Fakakta's
on YouTube. Joe and Eva, excuse me, they seemed like they were inevitably marching toward the end, and so
they had it.
What happened?
Well, what happened is they got played. They didn't even realize it was interesting because this year was the year of the public pair and the private pair. And the public pair was Joe and Eva. Eva was River's favorite. He loved Eva. Eva was autistic, is autistic. So she had it was the first autistic person publicly, I guess, on the on Survivor. So it was interesting.
Definitely
in that
publicly. Because I know these people, and there are a lot of people who are on the spectrum, but
yeah, for sure. There's definitely been a bunch of them. But this was like, I'm autistic, literally saying it at the podcast. So this wasn't like a Zeke situation. This was like, I'm autistic at the very beginning. So essentially, but she did have a number of emotional breakdowns because a lot of those challenges are very frustrating, and the frustration for an autistic person is very difficult. So there was a lot of problems there. And I mean, they were good. They had played an incredible game. It was super honest. I wanted Joe to win just because he was maybe the most honest player ever, and it would have been like the only time in the history of Survivor that an honest player won. Yeah. But Kyle and Camilla played a sweet game together. They were very, very crafty. Nobody knew they were a pair, even though in the edit it seems obvious, but in on the show you couldn't tell. Yeah. And they just kind of orchestrated everything in a way where Kyle kind of had to win because he, I think that if Joe and Eva wanted to win, they had to cut a few more throats on the way there. They couldn't just ride there. If Eva had gotten Eva had a lot of advantages, and she had an idol, but they were all like, she got them all, like, so Star gave Eva an idol for no reason except for Star was just like, I don't want this thing because they're gonna vote me out. So Star was like an interesting player. She was a very unique player. And so for her, giving away an idol was kind of like fit her overall playing style, which was like, I'm going to invent my own way to play this game. And I thought she was pretty successful at it. But Eva also, like, whenever they drew rocks, she would get the rock to go on the boat trip or whatever. They draw rocks to see who goes on the boat to get the potential advantage. And she got the rock. And so it seems like she just kind of got handed a great game. And so nobody wanted her to win except River. And Joe just kind of he voted out his guy, which was a good move. But then all the other vote outs were kind of Kyle and Camilla conspiring. Well, and they didn't even know about Kyle and Camilla. So when it got dropped in the final tribal, that was it. So I don't know. It was a great season. It was a different season. It was very different.
Well, John, people are already getting very excited about season 50. We still have season 49 to go, but season 50, which is going to be some sort of mega all-stars.
What do you know?
Are you ready for the rumored?
Gotta know. You gotta know everything already. I mean,
I've got the rumored cast
what
list,
is it?
and I want to go through it with you to get your response.
No.
This is not confirmed.
Just
this is rumored by reputable sources on the internet, John.
Yes.
I'm going to go full screen in this. I want you to walk us through the folks. Oh my God,
Angelina's back.
Page.
I get that. I get that.
So
Aubrey,
Angelina.
I get that. Colby Donaldson, you gotta be kidding me. What a step down for him to go from Curb Your Enthusiasm to a game show. Kyle's on there to repeat. I like that. Camilla's on there again. Wow, that's interesting.
Let's go across from the top row, though. You left out someone very, very important, that being Benjamin Coach Wade.
Where's Coach?
Coach, right next to Aubrey, top row in the middle.
Oh, is that who that is? Oh,
Coach.
Yeah.
We're not talking Coach Joey. We're talking Coach Wade, the Dragon Slayer himself.
I mean, Charlie's on there again. Charlie's got to be the pick. Charlie's got to be the most likely to win this, if anybody. No, but he'll play. He'll do well. He'll do really well. He's a great player. He was good on the podcast. Chrissy's back. Mike White is back. How does he have time for this?
I don't think he does. Like I said, this is a rumored cast list. So everyone, please.
I don't think they should put Mike White on there. He's too busy, and he literally won his season, and then he gave it away because he's like, I don't care about winning this stupid show, and he just he's lost out on red wine or whatever.
Well, he has White Lotus. He already won.
Yeah, he's already won. He's got to get to work on the next White Lotus. I mean, he's now in the business of launching K-pop superstars into the American culture, and that's a big, big business if he can do that. If he can repeat what he did at this last White Lotus with the girl from K-pop, the good girl, you know, like he got her whole Coachella thing was based around that. All right, so let's get back to this.
Yes, we got some other big names
coming
here.
Back.
Q, he's a very controversial figure. Love him or hate him, you definitely have an opinion about him.
I mean, I liked Q. I enjoyed watching him play. I just feel like when somebody plays that kind of game that's like, I want to go home, vote me off, I want to go home. Like, it's not a compelling watch after if they do it more than once, it's not a compelling watch, and Q did it like 4 times, so I don't know what they're putting him back on for. Who's Savannah Lou?
I have no idea. That may be someone from season 49, because I know Rizzo Velovic is someone from season 49, which hasn't even aired yet, which would be crazy to have 2 people who've never had their seasons be aired yet be on this all-star season, but maybe they're that good.
Well, I mean, look, Ozzy had an OnlyFans, didn't he? So is he the first OnlyFans model to be on Survivor at this point?
Yes. And once you've seen that, you will never be the same. Rick Devens. I know you like Rick Devens. He's great.
No OnlyFans there. Yeah, Rick Devens. Yeah, I mean, look, he was great on the podcast the year that he did the podcast. He's like an actual. Yeah, I mean, I liked Rick when he played. I like Suri on there. You know, I like Tiffany. I think Tiffany could be a good player. Who's Jenna Lewis?
Jenna Lewis from season 1 and the original All Stars season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you got some representation from back in the day.
And then what with Christian
Ubicki.
Did he win?
He did not, but remember how great he was.
He was really great, right? He reminds me of the other guy who won like him.
Yes, Cochran.
Yeah, Cochran was similar to him. They both did that like super nerd thing. And I mean, Dee Valadares is on. She's got to be the favorite, right?
I mean, pretty money.
Nobody can say no to Dee. I mean, she's got to be the favorite. Who's Jonathan Young?
That is the mega challenge beast from I think season 42, the guy who would literally just like throw his own tribe members like through the ocean in order to win the challenges.
I remember him. Yeah, he's like buff. He's
really
really
huge, just like an Adonis.
And is Joe Hunter Joe from this past season?
That's your guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Wow, this is excellent.
I mean, this will get me to watch again. I will say that if we're dealing with a cast of luminaries, I'm the world's biggest Suri fan. Obviously, always get excited to see the old school players come back. You got a little bit of messiness with Angelina and Mike White coming back.
Yeah.
Christian, who doesn't root for him? Coach will be theatrical and over the top. It'll be a great season.
I thought we were never going to see Coach again, but this is he's back. I mean, he's as old school as they get. It's going to be weird because he's 100, so it's going to be like, what are you doing,
geriatric
buddy?
At this point? I mean, Colby at this point has got to be pushing 55, 60 or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was on like season 3, right? He was 3?
He was Survivor Australia. That was season 2.
I actually got to say, I'm if that's the rumored group, I'm interested. I think I'm going to watch. But that was a lot more people. Was that more than 18 people? How many people was that?
I think that was.
I think that was. Do we have the ability to?
Yeah, I can bring that back.
Throw a graphic up at our new.
Yeah, we could do whatever we want.
Touchdowns all day. Studio, whatever the hell this place is called.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 4. So that's 24 people. That's Australian Survivor numbers we're looking at.
Wow. It is interesting that everybody who did the podcast, besides, Dee did the podcast, Devins did the podcast, Charlie did the podcast. They're all on.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit of like, because I think it's one of those. Let me ask you this question, Max.
Yes.
Do you ever think about playing again? Do you ever think about it?
Definitely not.
Is it like having sex with just an incredible person where the rest of your life you're just like, I wish I could do that again? Like, is it something like that?
No, because sex is fun.
Oh, Survivor's not fun? They look like they're having a great time.
No, it's definitely not fun. You haven't eaten, you haven't slept, you haven't showered, you haven't shit. People are going through. People are talking behind your back, going through your stuff. You're paranoid. It's absolutely miserable. It's fun to have been on Survivor, but being on Survivor
has been on Survivor 5 times. Why is she playing again? Well, what's the point?
She's royalty. She's in that Boston Rob, Sandra echelon.
Right.
Barber,
right.
The chat wants to know though, would you ever go on Survivor?
Oh yeah, in a second. I go on Survivor in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would clearly win. I don't think there's any way that I wouldn't win. I don't think there's no way. They'd have to give whoever my arch enemy is every idol in the game, and I would still probably win. I mean, it's like one of those things where you have to talk to other people, and I just feel like I can talk to other people. I just feel like I can. I don't know. We do this podcast. This isn't scripted. This isn't AI. This is real,
Well, there you go. Put your money on Barber. Season 51.
Lisa thinks I'd be voted out as early as humanly possible. So there's that. But
okay, John, do you want to do an ad read?
Yes, yeah. Let's do that. We only have time for one of them.
We have time for one, but I'm going to give you the screen. I'm going to let you do the ad read.
All right, folks. So this ad read is for Kleckner Appliance. This is our ticket giveaway with Kleckner Appliances. So Kleckner Appliances is in the Allentown area of Pennsylvania. They're celebrating 80 years of providing the best appliances for their community. And now we're doing a very special Disco Biscuit and Kleckner ticket giveaway. There they are with the big 80 on the screen there. That's been around forever. You know that they're going to give you quality stuff. Stephen Lewis at Kleckner Appliances has sold millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of appliances. I found out the other day. So
should we talk about why Kleckner and why you stand by them?
They hopped on the pod. I was complaining about ice machines on the podcast, and they were like, well, do you want an ice machine? And I was like, I'd love one. And they sent me an ice machine. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
I show up at John's house. He has the ice maker on the countertop that makes the pellet ice.
Yeah, because it looks cool. Yeah.
I mean, it is. And
People like
There
it.
are
People walk
people
into the
who
kitchen, they're
are
like, "What is
crazy
that?"
about that. Yeah, people go to
Yeah.
fast food restaurants and fill up cups with the pellet ice
Yeah.
just to bring home because it's better texture, better size, and all that.
It is pretty nice. If you anything that you want in the appliance world, they can get you a Kleckner. So we're running a deal, right? They're selling grills right now, summer grills. You can buy a
Whoa.
42-inch grill, a pro grade grill. You can buy a Speed Queen dryer. You can buy an ice machine. If your total is above $1,000, you win 2 tickets to any Disco Biscuit show this summer. So I don't care which show it is. You just gotta go up to Kleckner's, buy over $1,000 worth of appliances, and you get 2 tickets to any show. So there you go, folks. If the show is sold out, I will still give you 2 tickets to the show. So if a show is sold out and you want to go to Kleckner, upgrade. I got a new microwave the other day. Get a nice machine. But the high-end stuff they have is really nice, too. The fridges are cool. So get something like that, and we'd love to take care of you. Kleckner and Sons, thank you.
Yes. And make sure to ask for Steven. He is hardcore Biscuits fan and one of the greatest dudes out there. We love him. They call it ice because it freezes your brain. Yes, Matt. Perfect. John, I already promised that we would take a lot of listener questions today. So chat, now's your time to start posting some of those questions. But I've also got a bunch queued up that I collected from the community over the last few days. John, I'm going to pull some of those up if that's okay. I'm going to start out with this question
Go full
from
screen.
Custy the Wook Slayer. And he wants to know, or she, or they, would love to know
Yes.
about the Fender amps Barber used in the 1.0 days and what went into his decision to evolve.
It's a great question. I really enjoyed my stack, my amp stack back then. I had a Bassman and I had a Fender Deluxe, and I used to run out the speaker jack of the Deluxe into the Bassman, and that was my stack. And it sounded awesome, but the amps exploded. So there was something wrong with the way that I was running. Like I was running a speaker feed which has a lot of current in it because it's powering a speaker. It's not supposed to go into the input of another. The input's supposed to be a guitar, not a speaker cable. So I was sending a lot of current into this Bassman,
Okay.
and it would explode. It would explode all the time, and it's just like everybody got sick of it. But I love the sound. So it was one of those things where maybe I could have run that better. I could have done it a little smarter. Maybe I could have talked to somebody. Maybe.
I mean, you didn't have Nick back then.
We didn't have Nick
You didn't
back.
have
I had
like
nobody,
your go-to genius. You were doing it yourself. You were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Chief, what do you think?" And Chief was like, "I don't know."
Chief had no idea. Yeah, nobody knew. I mean, we didn't hire people who were in the business. You know, we
mean-
hired people who were like, we love you. Can we work for you?
The
Those are
primary
people we
qualification
hired.
was having nothing to do. Like
Yeah.
they were available, and they did a great job.
That was a big part because we were playing a lot of shows. So like, you really had to hang up whatever else you were doing in your life and like get on the road. But I was just running the amps this way because it ran that way. I wanted to run a Bassman. I didn't like the guitar straight into the Bassman. It's a bass amp, so it was too dry for me. It didn't have like some of the features, but I really liked the Deluxe Fender amp. So I used to just chain them. And since then I've talked to people about it, and apparently I could just take the other input on the Deluxe, just that one's hot for some reason, and then you just run that right into the Bassman, and apparently it would have worked out better. So
Interesting.
yeah.
John, I'm going to go to the chat. Rob Visual wants to know what's Barber's favorite
What's
song
up, Rob?
to play in 2025.
Ooh, that's a tough one because Scars of the Brave is really, really fun to play if you want to scream out of your face. It's just so fun. I was doing it last night because everybody went to sleep and I couldn't sleep, so I played through my Biscuit songs, and I was doing Scars of the Brave, and I was just like, this is crazy. I have to get ready to do that song on tour. I'm not ready now. I was practicing it last night, and I was like, oh damn, it's a real screamer. That one's fun. I really like a lot of the new stuff we're doing. I'm enjoying it a lot. What's a good one to play? We haven't played Jigsaw in a while. I kind of miss playing Jigsaw. I want to bring that one back. Um, there's some wild stuff. My new guitar rig is faster and more Daft Punk, if you will. And so I'm going to so it's like reacting better
Oh,
to my playing. My last rig, which is gone now and been replaced, was just not quite as quick as the new one. Sounded great, but wasn't as quick. So this one's quick, and that will be on this tour. So expect a lot of fast guitar on this tour.
okay. John, this is a question from our friend Katie Cheeks. Are you psyched for Jam Cruise? And what made you change your take on cruising? So is there a story here that I'm not aware of? Were you anti-cruise previously?
No, I mean, look, I don't love cruises. I'm like always too big for the bed. I mean, they just don't put big beds on there, and then when the bed's too small, I can't sleep. And then when I can't sleep, I can't sing. So I don't really love that combination for me, because I like to be able to sing. It makes my job more fun. But I mean, I don't mind a cruise. And honestly, after the Alaska cruise kind of didn't work out because, the whole all the 9 million issues that cruise had, which we were kind of hoping none of them would be issues, and every single one of them was an issue. So what we're just looking for is just to get out on the water and do a cruise, but, in a way that we know is going to work. And we know Jam Cruise is going to work. We've done it before. Mark plays it all the time. We've worked with Cloud9 before. We know Fort Lauderdale is going to work. Everything about that cruise is going to work. And we kind of hope that the fans will sell it out cold for, a really great cruise weekend, so that we can then have these conversations about what the band's going to do next. That's super special. But after it's hard to do these kind of destination things. So we're trying to build our way back to, really cool events.
Excuse me. Well, on that subject, we had another question from Trey Simmons. It's a Biscuits Tropical Beach Festival holidays on the way.
If Jam Cruise sells out, yes. Yes, no question. If Jam Cruise does not sell out, then probably. But it's you never know. I mean, the concert business is in a weird place right now. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody I talk to is freaking out all the time. So something like, Iceland was a huge success for us. I mean, Iceland was a massive success, and we probably will go back there because it was such a success. However, we haven't done a cruise well in a long time. So hopefully Jam Cruise will go well. And then at that point, Mexico's on the table, Dominican's on the table, everything's on the table. Belize, Costa Rica. There's a lot of things that we can do. And if Jam Cruise sells out, it's just guaranteed that that's going to happen. So, and Jam Cruise is dope. Everybody has a great time. They put a ton of bands on there. So come party with us on Jam Cruise. We're going to have a good time. Have you considered dusting off the old songs that have been played for the 30th anniversary tour, like Camera B, Coat, or Mariel Bop Bop? Wow.
From the great Boots O'Reilly.
I mean, look, is there a version of these songs that's really good? You want to send me, want to DM me the good version? So
you're asking the right person. Boots would know. Boots, why don't you come up with a playlist of your favorite versions of the rarities, the retired songs?
Seriously.
And maybe we'll dedicate an episode to working through some of those and figuring out which of them. Yeah.
Make it easy. Yeah, I mean, look, I know kind of how Mariel Bop Bop goes. I really like that. I like that stuff. But if I was to sit down and play Mariel Bop Bop right now, it probably would be a totally different song. And I think even Camera B too. Coat is one of those songs that I don't know. Do the fans really want us to do that song? I don't really know. But if you got a version that's fire, that is the first step towards those things getting done for sure.
Okay. I've got a question here from the aforementioned John Politis of the Touchdowns All Day Advisory Committee.
What's up, John?
Really looking forward to the Tractor Beam show at the Av Live in Philly. Wondering if you've ever gone there back in the day when it was the Egypt nightclub, and if there's any interesting stories there. The place was pretty wild. So, John, do you know this venue? Do you have a
Yeah, it's
history
dope.
there?
Not really. I mean, I was there a couple times when it was Egypt, chasing girls, stuff like that. Um, it was cool. Like the EDM scene was not what it is today. Back then, it was a lot more like, just like normal. There weren't as many hits. So it was just like kind of, like what it was. Like they would play some stuff. It was a lot of Tiesto style stuff at that place. I think Diplo used to play there a lot back in the day. We used to go there when there were cool people there and we wanted to meet them and stuff like that. Biscuits never played there, and this is the first time we're playing there. But it is huge. So it does have like a cool vibe. It's going to be a really interesting show. I don't know if I agree with John Cosgrove that Shampoo was better.
Is that another Philly club?
Yeah, Shampoo was a little bit different. I just feel like they never really got they just never really figured Shampoo out. And I knew the guy who ran the place pretty well, and they used to VIP me there all the time. And I was always kind of underwhelmed with the music there. It was always like, is this a hip hop club or is this a dance club or what is this? Like they could never really figure it out.
All right. Well, everybody is very excited for a Philly
Agreed.
tractor beam show. That's going to be huge. Let's go to the hotline, 424-666-SIYD. John, this one is, I think he'll introduce himself. This is Dave, I think.
Hey, Max. Hey, John. This is Dave calling from New York City. Big fan of the podcast. I think you guys are doing great work. John, as a fellow guitar player, I've always been especially impressed by your unique and creative improvisational phrasing. I felt it was something that really set you apart from a lot of other players in the live music scene. I was wondering if you could speak for a moment about that specific aspect of your playing style, especially during the mid to late 90s when you were developing your own identity as a player with the Biscuits. What thought process were you experiencing during that time, and what influences were you drawing upon that helped you shape your distinct approach to guitar phrasing? Thanks so much, and looking forward to catching the Biscuits this summer.
It's a great question. Very intelligent question. So, John, what was your thought process as you were developing your own approach to improvisation?
Well, I mean, I studied Miles Davis a lot. I really loved Miles Davis. I mean, my favorite guitar players, we've done the top 5 with Hendrix and Jerry and, like stuff like that. Trey's on there and, like Jimmy Page and Van Halen. Like that's the gang, right? But you can't really do what Jerry and Trey did because they already did it. And the other guys weren't jam band guys. So who was kind of shredding over grooves, and I just really thought Miles Davis was doing it better than anybody, and I would just kind of fall in love with one album of his after another. I mean, even Sketches of Spain, which is not Bitches Brew at all, is absolutely gorgeous and just incredible. So I would learn his stuff note for note. I mean, just like even especially his the kind of blue era where he was playing modally in C when the band's in D, like that whole type of modal approach to soloing was a big deal to me. And I was always thinking of that and doing that and applying that at different stages. And then there's the Coltrane India side of that era as well. If you've ever heard, I mean, go to YouTube and do Coltrane India and just listen to that. I mean, that is like, whew. What is that? It's insane and it's so beautiful. And I used to play along with it and just be like, just like, I never really studied it from a like a note value way, but I would put it on and repeat and I would just like play along with it. So those are the two big influences for me from that era.
That's so funny to me because last week we were talking about my interview with Benji and he had called you a jazz jam band. You were like, we weren't a jazz jam band. And here you are saying you're studying Coltrane and Miles and playing along to Sketches in Spain and Kind of Blue. So whether you realized it or not, you were probably very influenced by those jazz cats and the way they approached improvisation.
Yeah, we definitely were. There's no question. I mean, we were all jazz guys doing jazz stuff. We still are very jazzy, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Trey, and I know that you get asked this question like every time you walk out the front door. Dan Kisler wants to know, one of the great Barber lore stories I remember hearing going back to the early 2000s was a guitar contest that Barber had played in at some point where Trey was supposedly a guest judge. Would love to get his firsthand account telling of this event and set the record straight on how it actually went down. Is it true that John was given the nickname of John the Jet Setter at that event? Now, John, I should have asked this question when Kevin Abrams was on Bassist for a Day episode a few weeks back, because I believe Kevin was with you on that evening. So there is third-party verification of some elements of this. Now, I will warn you before I shut up and let John answer the question. You can ask John the same question 3 times on 3 different days. You'll get 3 different answers. So I do not know if the answer he gives us right now will be the full, accurate, truthful version or an embellishment or, something in between. But John, what is the story about the guitar contest that Trey was supposedly the guest judge at?
Well, we were Fish fans at the time, and we were not a band, really. So we were just guys who liked music and who played a little bit of music together. We really didn't have a career or anything at that point. And I had written a song called My Lady Survives, I think in 97 or 98. I wrote it on a piano, and then I had just the melody, which is I wrote it on a piano. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just playing a piano. I was at some party, and I was bored, and I sat down the piano and wrote that song instead of talking to humans. It was just a thing that I used to do. I used to do it all the time too, which is crazy. But pianos to me were very quizzical and weird. It was very fascinating to sit down at a piano for me for a while, and I could just sit at one for a while and just be like beep beep beep, beep, and it was very fun. So I had that melody lying around, and somebody told us that there was this guitar competition at Nectar's, R.I.P. in Vermont, and essentially Brownie and Kevin were like, let's go. And Brownie had this van called the Grouse, which had no windows. It was like a work van for like plumbers or something like that.
Oh, so you're like in the back, like cargo.
Yeah, we were cargo in the back, and somebody else drove. Me and Mark were in the back, and I basically took My Lady Survives and arranged it for guitar with all the like finger picking and stuff, which actually worked out quite well. I was like, oh, this is nice. And I played that, and I had the part where it drops to C sharp, and I would tune that down on the guitar. And so we drove to this Nectar's place that was famous, and there was the Trey sitting at the table with the 2 other judges, and they all knew each other. And I was like in this Vermont cool guy hang, and I was this weird guy from Philly, like, who are these people? And I went up on stage, and they gave me a slot, and I went up on stage, and there were other notable people there. I want to say there's a blues guy there who had a little bit of a career after that. I forget his name offhand. It was a long time ago. And then there was an old guy there who was like the local favorite who did like finger picking bluegrass. And so I went in the middle of that. A bunch of other people went. There's some like real Fish heads who were like, I love you, and then played Fluffhead or something dumb, and they like booed off stage. And it's because it wasn't about Fish, it was about Vermont. And I played my little My Lady Survives thing, and when I tuned down to C sharp to get that chord, Trey leapt out of his seat. It like for Trey, that was like the coolest thing, was that as a composer, I needed this note, and I tuned down to get it. He was like, he loved that. And then and then afterwards we hung out. They didn't take any pictures of us back then. We hung out for a while. We talked about music. It was cool. He was very nice, and he was super normal. I was like, he was a totally normal dude. And we talked about composing and stuff, and it was a very cool conversation. And then I think I took like 3rd place. They gave 1st place to the local favorite. They gave 2nd place to the blues guy, Yakavone, I think was his name. Seth Yakavone was his name. Yeah, so he like had like a whole career after that, and he was young, and I think he just did a blues song, like straight up killed the blues song. He was really good,
Yeah.
And then I tied with somebody else who also did something like kind of more classical inspired. And then, and yeah, that was it. That was the whole thing. But yeah, he was there. And then after the conversation we had, I was like, yeah, we drove up, whatever. Like, we got our car outside. And we would just play the song and leave. And he was like, oh, so you're like jet setting the show. And I was like, yeah, we're not even hanging. We got to go back, you know? And he was like, oh. And so he called me John the Jet Setter. And then when they announced me as one of the winners, they said John the Jet Setter. So
amazing.
that's where the nickname came from. And then we went right back to Barber after that.
I feel like we finally have a definitive answer. If anybody asks you, if you're listening to this live now and anyone asks you, you can tell them with confidence that John is in fact the Jet Setter and that the Trey story is real. Let's go to another call that came in on the hotline.
Hey, Max. Hey, Barber. I have a really random question about the song Widgets. I listen to it a lot randomly. It's a great studio song. I feel like it would produce a killer jam. Wondering why it's never played. Thanks a lot.
John, I had to look this one up.
Yeah.
Widgets.
I mean, when I mastered that album, it was me and Big Bass Brian. If you guys want to see a resume, Wikipedia, Big Bass Brian. I mean, the guy mastered everything Michael Jackson ever did. Like, he mastered like almost every album you've ever heard.
Wow.
And he turned to me after hearing this and he goes, "This is it." And I go, that's what he said to me.
I mean,
and I was like, okay, Big Bass Brian. The weirdest song ever, dude.
And have you ever played this on stage?
No, I don't know why we don't play this song. I don't know. Somebody asked Joey and Mark to get doing this.
What do you think? Would you ever want to re-explore
I like everything
this?
about it. I mean, the problem with this song is the lyrics like kind of garbled beyond recognition, and so what is going on there? So it's like, how do you do that live? I think those are the big questions.
Yeah. I'm looking at Big Bass Brian's CV right now.
Insane.
First of all, he got his nickname from Dr. Dre. Which,
oh, really?
That alone. He's worked with En Vogue. He mastered All Eyes on Me, Janet Jackson, the Slim Shady LP, Tyler the Creator, Smash Mouth, Blink 182.
I mean, that's like what he did in his retirement. Go back. Go to the 70s and 80s.
Oh my, he's from that far back? Oh my God, since the mid-60s.
Yeah. It's like the most, he's like John McEnroe of mastering.
Amazing.
Incredible career. Just sat in a mastering studio in LA for 40, 50 years and just mastered album after album after album. He's like the most like if the guy was a turtle and a human at the same time, it would be a big Brian. That kind of thing. But I mean, yeah, he was the best for bass.
Oh my God, Thriller. He did the
Thriller,
Jackson 5?
Yeah, he did everything.
How the heck did he do did he fall on hard times? Did he have to do the Disco Biscuits?
No, we played
Gambling?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that's really impressive. And Patrick, thank you for putting Widgets back on everybody's radar. I think it might be a fun song to revisit.
I think some of those lyrics are cool. Like, I feel like that could be done, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
Do people want that tempo of? I feel like everybody's focused on the Biscuits being an up-tempo operation.
Yeah.
Do people want that kind of mellow stuff?
I mean, Laura said, "Is this the Biscuits or Radiohead?" It definitely has that kind of vibe.
It's the instrument, yeah.
I mean, people love dynamics. People love, when you mix things up. So who knows?
Yeah.
There's somebody out there who, no matter what the obscure Biscuit song, no matter how forgotten it is, there's someone out there for whom it's their favorite song ever. So that's the beauty of having this huge catalog and all these songs that you rotate through. Okay, I got a great question here.
I mean, the catalog.
It's insane at this point.
It's insane. It's crazy.
Okay, this is a great question from friend of the pod, Rich Steele. When you were writing the hot air balloon songs, did you use a bass and a keyboard to write all those parts? Or were they more put together in your head and used your guitar to figure out which notes work best? And once you presented the songs to Mark and Aaron, what impact did they have on the final results that made it to the stage that we all hear?
Well, I mean, look, there's like songs like Overture and stuff, like the do 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 part of Overture, where it was very much in my head. Like I couldn't even get it. I couldn't even figure out how to write it because I was hearing it so quickly that it would just like that part of the song was like me. I wrote like an arrow up and then an arrow down, and then I would like sing what the arrow down was, and then I would write the other arrow up, and I would be like K for keyboards and G for, and it was like this weird, like quick, like how do you write a fugue very quickly? And that was basically what I was doing. Like, there's your thing. And I was really doing that in a lot of the songs, just very quick stuff. I always would like to, I mean, and we've talked about this on the pod before, but I would always like to let the guys take a cut at the line.
Yeah.
Before giving them the line that I thought fit there, because you never know, like a lot of times they come up with something even better. So there was a lot of that going on. And then there was a lot of times like at Hot Air Balloon, the bass line, the bass line at the beginning, not in the beginning of Hot Air Balloon, but after the rise, there's that bass melody, but do 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 that thing. That was just like written, and then I just put it on bass because I don't know why, and that was just a decision. And yeah, I mean, I definitely was writing mostly in my head in those days. There wasn't a lot of instruments. I didn't believe in writing on the instrument in those days because I thought it changed what you would write. I thought that your fingers do things automatically on an instrument, whereas if you're writing music, you if you're thinking about it, there's no physical like, oh, my hand was in this position, so I added that note because that's what I do, and my hand's in this position. So I was really trying to avoid that kind of stuff. And nowadays I write in my head too, like when we do all the stuff we're doing here where we take the jam and then we do that here. I'm not playing guitar on any of that stuff. I'm doing all that stuff in my head too, and I create that stuff. So I like to write in my head. I feel like it's faster, and I like the results better.
Okay, I've got another hot air balloon related question. This one again from our friend John Politis. He wants to know, was there ever going to be a song written about Diamond Riggs, or was he meant to remain a shadowy and mysterious character in the hot air balloon saga? John, we were just talking with Benji, and he was sharing with us how he contributed to the hot air balloon playbill that was handed out on New Year's Eve '98.
He did.
And of course, in there, you mentioned this character, Diamond Riggs, who ended up being the namesake for your first publishing company. No, not your publishing. That was Try the Veal. It was your record label, I guess, Diamond Riggs Records.
Yeah, we kind of flirted with it. I think the other guys in the band didn't love it as a record name. So it was like never... I don't know if people liked it that much. We used it for a little while for no big deal. But
for those who might not be familiar with the lore, who was Diamond Riggs, and was there ever any thought of developing that character?
Well, Diamond Riggs was always in the story. I don't know. Diamond Riggs, in my mind, was my manager, Johnny Zazula, at the time. And I always felt like you needed like a kind of big, fat, jovial guy that was like, yeah, you do this, you do that, you succeed. Like some guy, like the band is doing everything, you know what I mean? But you need like the Johnny Zazula there to tell the band what to do or tell the band when they're doing the right things. And that's what Diamond Riggs' role was in Hot Air Balloon, where he was, him and Mulberry and Granada would go pitch this idea to Diamond Riggs, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, you guys are stupid, that'll never work, and la la. And then he essentially funded there's Johnny Z. Yes. That's kind of like that's
Diamond Riggs.
I mean, that's Johnny Z. Diamond Riggs wasn't exactly that, but it's the vibe. That's definitely the vibe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like that's Diamond Riggs was Johnny Z in those days. He was our manager when I was writing that. And I liked Johnny Z a lot. He was a great manager. He was definitely, I think that Diamond Rings was
Legendary
kind of
figure.
based on that idea of like the guy who like doesn't do anything but maybe pays for some stuff and like gives you some ideas.
Well, there's an interesting, I think, parallel with Revolution in Motion. There are some characters that I know that you and Joey have developed very elaborate stories for that only get mentioned in passing, like the Bellevue Wrecking Crew. I know there was a big conversation about their origins that's never really been discussed, but it went into the process of writing the story and creating the world. So sometimes I think what I've observed over the years with you guys is you write 100 pages to get 10 pages of really great material. It's sort of like Star Wars.
1,000. Yeah.
When George Lucas came out with that first Star Wars, he knew a lot of the lore. And some of it he made up as he went along, but a lot of the lore had been developed. It didn't all have to be in that screenplay. It didn't all have to be in that movie. But the fact that it existed made the story feel denser, made the world feel more real and three-dimensional. And the fact that there are characters like the Bellevue Wrecking Crew or Diamond Rings who you never really find out about, but who you've clearly given a lot of thought to, just makes these stories all the more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I even gave him what I thought was a cool name. It's like Diamond Ring. He's the guy who's like providing the that kind of like financial, like real world impetus that things need to get off the ground. I mean, honestly, like as a storyteller, there is a rich history of some of the best stories of all time being 4 books deep. Like look at The Hobbit and all those books. He wrote those in a trench in World War II, right? The ones that we watched, Tale of the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy is after thousands and thousands of pages of there's the whole like Silver Redman thing he's got there, and then there's The Hobbit, and then there's Lord of the Rings trilogy. And so it's like the world is so detailed when you set pen to the first word of the Lord of the Rings that you can really go into, you don't need to tell that whole story, but you're living in that world. And that's Game of Thrones, that's Star Wars, any of these huge epic tales.
Yeah.
If you don't do some work, the Odyssey, Boots is saying, like, if you don't do some work setting up Dune, like how are you going to tell a detailed story if you haven't written down any of the details that you're going to draw from when you tell the main part of the story? And that's really, as a storyteller, something that I was all about, and still am all about that. I think Revolution in Motion is a really nice first story for something that could go 3 or 4 deep, like you could really talk about the characters, the electricity, like the outer space world that they're in, what happens after To Be Continued, what is the red supernova? Like we never really talk about what the red supernova is, And so there's a lot of places that we can go there. I just think that's how you tell a good story is you tell 100 stories and you the last 3 are your 3 movies. You know what I mean?
I love it. Well, look forward to the Revolution in Motion sequels, prequels, the spin-offs, the limited edition series on Touchdowns All Day. We'll be spinning off characters from this for the next 50 years, like Star Wars. John, what is the red supernova? Do you want to take this moment?
No, I have a lot of ideas for where that should go and what should happen to the Bellevue Wrecking Crew, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like they're an essential character for these.
I think the Bellevue Wrecking Crew really comes into their own in part 2. From what I understand of the story, they assume a very prominent role in the universe in part 2. And I love the little bit that you and Joey have let me in on what you've been thinking about for part 2. I think is even more exciting than part 1. It could be your Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll see. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where if I'm like sitting around writing space operas for the next 5 years if the world, if the music gods allow me to do something crazy like that, that could be very cool, you know? And maybe we'll do that. I like where we're at right now, though. I'm honestly like enjoying this one at a time song vibe that we're on. I feel like we're getting a lot of great songs that way too. So we'll go back and forth. It's one of the things about being a creative for a living is you have to continue to put yourself in different. They say this about weightlifting too. You have to give yourself different challenges every day.
Yeah.
And that's like a big key to it. So as a creative, like, you know, the rock opera challenge is very helpful when you need it. And sometimes it's too much, you know, you never know. Depends on who whether or not you're in like a Disney contract or something. But look, I mean, look at Moana 2. Did Lin-Manuel, did he do Moana 2? No, he did not. And I don't know, probably was a money dispute with Disney because he probably wanted 15 million bucks and they probably were like, we're going to do it for 2. But still, if he really, really wanted to do it, he would have done it for 2. And I think he's just like, well, I did that, you know?
Yeah.
So creatives can be fickle.
Well, speaking of changing things up from album to album, Funky Boss on Fantasy Tour wanted to know what songs will be on the new album and how did the approach to this, I think that's meant to say, differ from Revolution in Motion? Did you list any producers to assist with it? So I know in the past you have been keeping it close to your chest what's on the album, and I'm fine with allowing that to be a surprise. But what about the approach? How did you approach this album? Was it different than the way you approached Revolution in Motion? And what about the production on this one?
There was a little bit of a difference in the production in that I kind of sold the band on this Rolling Stones method, which is you go into the studio and you just play one song over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you get that like wild version that's just done. And the Stones used to do this, and that's how they get, like, if you ever listen to Wild Horses or Angie, and you're just like, how do they even make this? Like, there's no takes, there's clearly no like real form to the song. I mean, maybe they recut the vocals, but I don't even know if they did that. I mean, they literally had backup singers, organ players, like everybody in the studio for like an entire day. And they went from a riff and a lyrical idea to a done song, which is similar to what we do here when we write, as we start with an idea and a basic blah, blah, blah. And then 6 hours later, we got a demo and print that, we send it to you and see what you think. So it's similar to that. It was like the late 70s version of that. And I kind of wanted to do that with the band. But when we got in the studio with the band, we just realized that, you know, we had been playing these songs on tour and we definitely don't need to play it all night long. Like, we don't need to play 78 doorbells. The first 4 are so good that the band kind of wants to do a different song. So anything that's on the new list is available for this album. Any song that's on this list of new songs, we could put on there. I recorded most of them. So the question is just like, which ones do I get hot with producing? We don't have producers on this one. No cloud chord. We're using one producer named Lizzie Jane to help us with a drum and bass song. And I don't know exactly what other producers we're going to bring on. If you guys know producers, let me know. Send them over because I can use some help. I got a lot of stuff going on, but we'll see. I'll probably just do it on tour while I'm hanging on the tour bus and stuff. Just like pound out some sweet jams.
Is there anything you can do in the studio, especially using this Rolling Stones approach, that you can't do? Well, not only on stage, but just in your basement? Like, were you taking advantage? I know you have that strong policy, no grand piano, no instrumentation that doesn't match what the Biscuits core lineup plays, but did you do anything, or are you tapping into any new tools and sounds or collaborators, guest artists, anything like that make this album different from what's come before?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I wanted this album to be the Biscuits playing music. So there is a lot of Biscuits playing, and it's a little less. Revolution in Motion was a lot of like us making kind of what a techno album would be with the Biscuits style music. So it's very edited. And I think we made a really smooth album. Like the drums are Alan, but there's a lot of other drums in there. You know, there's a lot of electronic bass. There's a lot of string bass. There's tons and tons of keyboards in there. The guitar was added afterwards. Even, you know, so it's just the way that it looped around. It was like a real studio creation. Where this, I wanted to kind of dial it back and get something that's a little bit more organic to the Biscuits. So I'm starting with a strip of the Biscuits playing the song where I feel like if you just put that out, it would be great. So that's that's what I think the Biscuits turned the Rolling Stone method into.
Very good. Well, John, I know we've been going for a long time, so I'm just going to finish off with one last question that is looking ahead. And this one is from Sack Lunch on Fantasy Tour. What are you and the band thinking about, hoping to accomplish going into the anniversary tour, TDB 30? I know that you sometimes go into a tour with some intentions, or you go into a tour like with a tractor beam gig at the end of that tour that you're going to be building toward, or some festival gigs or some new songs. What is the organizing principle? You guys just had that Far Play rehearsal. What is the mantra or the theme going into this tour?
Well, I mean, for me, it's my guitar rig is fucking crazy right now. It's so crazy. I don't even know what to tell you. It's
so is this no longer the Helix? Is this new gear?
No, the Helix is still in there. Yeah. But the Helix doesn't convert the guitar right now. The Fractal's converting the guitar. And the Fractal is just an incredible guitar converter. It's just so good at it. The Helix is digitally connected to the system now. So the Helix sounds better. And I love the effects of the Helix. Like the things that I do on stage with the Helix all sound better now. And they're still in the loop and there's no sound degradation at all. It's so fire. But now I have all the Fractal stuff too on top of that, which is all different stuff. And it's all synced up the way it always was. And it's going to be really good. And it just plays like pure butter. And the combination of those two modelers is so cool.
Yeah. So is the Fractal another modeler?
Yeah. It's the same thing as the Helix. It's just a little bit more of like a expensive version. I spent a lot of money on it. It's expensive. And so, but the Helix is an excellent unit. I mean, the Helix is terrific. So I want the Helix on stage as well. So I wire the Helix. They call it SPDIF, which is the SPDIF, that audio connection. That's just digital, right? So I have the SPDIF sitting in the digital loop of the Fractal. So the Fractal gives me that like really expensive guitar conversion. And then I have the Helix there and I have the Fractal there and I'm mixing them up. So now when I'm playing the Helix, I can actually put wah pedals and stuff on the Fractal that, you know, a lot of my sounds on the Helix max the Helix out because, you know, it's crazy what I'm doing in there. Yeah. And so now I can add things on the Fractal to the Helix stuff that I always wanted to add, but never had the space. So that's where it's just awesome. I mean, I'm so psyched about that. We have some of these tractor beam shows are just insane stages that the band's going to be on. And I'm excited to see how the tractor beam handles these stages. It's going to be interesting to see what tractor beam is going to turn into its own act this summer. And we're going to see exactly how that works. You know, we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting now.
So new gear, I know that's been a big focus. You have been dialing in the technology over the last 2+ months. Lots of tractor beam, lots of history, lots of historic venues you'll be hitting, places that have been important to the Biscuits, towns that have been important to the Biscuits. You got new stuff, new songs that you've been teasing, that you've been working on. So it's going to be an interesting summer, to say the least, I think.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I think we did a practice the other day and everybody was playing really well. And so I was just like, oh, everybody's like top notch, playing great. You know, Mark's been doing a lot of shows, so he's probably just as warm as he normally is.
Oh yeah, Magner's also been working on his setup. I just saw a video of him and Ben with Jules Jensen working
Yeah.
on the
Jules.
Stream Deck, all of the little sample triggers that Magner has on his rig now.
Yeah, it's really cool. That shit's wild. Jules is a genius, so we'll see what happens there. He helped me a lot with some of my stuff too, just in an offhand way. So
Yeah.
it's always good when he's around. I think that always is good things. And like the Biscuits is one of those things where if we can kind of like tighten up our stage stuff a little bit, which we've been obviously working really hard on, the show just gets more powerful from there. And in our completely loose improv world that we exist in, it's nice for us to have like just quick ways to solve issues, to move the jam along, to add thickness to the jam and space and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you're constantly pushing the limits of the technology and having to invent new techniques or bring in new outside consultants or rely on the big brains of people like Ben and Nick, who really make it their job to make you guys sound great. So it's going to be really exciting to see you on some of these special stages like that Infinity stage at Bonnaroo. So big things in the works. Well, guys, let's come to the end of the episode. Barber, Touchdowns All Day Live. Should we do this again next week? What do you say?
Yeah, I love this. This is so fun.
I think so too. And
I'm glad we're pulling this off. I mean, it's been very cool experience. And if you guys have like a business and you want to advertise on our YouTube stream, like the Kleckner appliance guys, just send us a DM. We'd love to have some more people on there. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, one thing that we know is Biscuits fans are loyal and they show up and support not only the band, but they support people who support the band. So great way to get the word out about your company, your product, or whatever it is that you've got going on. I'll remind you again, help John and me out. Subscribe to the Touchdowns All Day YouTube page. We want to get those subscriber numbers up. We got a lot of big plans for that channel. Lots of great videos going up. Some more videos in the works. I'm working on tracking down some old Lost Biscuits recordings. I've got a line on the first ever Blue Terrapin show from 1997. We still have that 2018 Wolfgang Puck set from Philadelphia that we've got to put out. So maybe we'll see if we can get that up on the YouTube channel. Lots of content that we want to share with you guys. And we're so grateful for you all tuning in tonight at the end of your holiday weekend and continuing to support the podcast and the band. So John, shall we call it a night?
Yep. It's been great, guys. Thank you.
Thanks all. I'm going to see you soon.
See ya.